Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Better at Beach podcast. In today's episode, we are offering you an exclusive look inside of one of our online meetings, where our members learn about the 9 biggest workout mistakes beach volleyball players make. But before that, early in the episode, we're going to focus on the weekly challenge that our members are going through, which is tracking personal records. We want to use a structured yearly schedule that is in place based on the pro players and that we want our members to use to ensure progress and that is measured effectively. In the discussion, it will highlight the importance of recording challenges, personal best, and key statistics to track improvements. But if you are interested in joining us at our training camps, we will be going to Salt Lake City, Utah, February 13 and 14. We will be going to New Orleans, March 14, Long Island, March 21st, Las Vegas, March 28th, Oklahoma City, April 4th. We're adding camps almost every week, and we would love to see you there. But for now, enjoy this inside look at our complete blueprint training session.
I want to reintroduce what we're doing for this year. Okay, so we've got our challenge for the week, and each week, here's my goal. Give you an easy mission to complete or finish so that you can stay on track with the progress throughout the year, right? We've created a schedule. I can pull it up here in the background, but I'm going to go through it again and let you know what our year of scheduling will be like. Now, along with this, so you guys are going to have the topics. I'm going to share with you the topics that we're going to be covering each week. That will come with a challenge. Challenges are going to range from watch these 3 videos from this course to this week's challenge, write down some PRs or performance records, and I'm actually going to share a big group Excel sheet. It's a Google sheet. Please don't edit anybody else's numbers, but it's going to be everybody can share it, and I'm giving you guys examples of exercises. Now, all I want you to do is just a minimum of 1 PR performance record this week. This does not mean that you have to try absolutely as hard as you can at that exercise. It means complete it. Complete the mission. Get that written down. Next time you want to, beat your score. Okay? Very simple. Very easy. And it is, sorry with my million tabs everywhere. I really got to clean up my life. But, okay, it's called Babber's Sheet. So I'm going to share this in the group right now in the chat. You guys can open it. Okay. If you're in your app, don't bother opening it because I'm also going to share it in the community. But it is right here. Okay. I've given you a lot of the PRs and assessments and tests from within the 60-day max vertical, from the mobility, and these are similar, if not the same as those, but there are some that aren't in there. Now, when we talk about PRs, performance records, okay, you can make them up. I have a whiteboard in my garage, and I think I have maybe 20 different PRs, and they range from how long can I hang on a pull-up bar to I also have a wind bike, a Rogue Echo bike. How fast can I complete a mile? But I also have another Rogue Echo bike one. Is how much distance can I cover in 10 minutes? Right? So I have these tests, and I also have my one rep hex bar deadlift. I don't like for myself doing a 1 rep squat max. It's not my favorite. My body hasn't coordinated well with squats, but I do love the hex bar for that. So I've got a 5 rep squat max. Like, what did I do 5 times. That way I'm not like absolutely crushing my body, but I've got something written down on it. Can I go downstairs and beat it right now? Yes. Does it mean I'm going to attack it later on? Maybe. Maybe I'll decide, maybe I won't. But writing down at least a baseline of what you're capable of, and then having the option of 10, 15, 20 exercises to go, you know what? I'm going to knock that one out today. It's a really, really, really good feeling. Okay. So I want you in the first column, and I'm going to share this in the community, but in the first column, I've written a little thing that says add your own, and you guys in that first column can add whatever it is. If it's a mile time, if it's 100-yard sprint, if it's a wall sit at 90 degrees, and you just want to see like how long you can tolerate, write those down. Put that exercise in there, put your time, and then the people who go after you, they'll also be like, I don't want to do that one, don't want to do that one. Oh, I'll try this one. I'm at my office today. Let me do a wall sit for 20 minutes, right? So, and then I really, 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 really encourage you guys to have your own PR sheet somewhere. You know, I'm lucky enough to have a garage gym where we bought some whiteboards for it because I like to write down all my workouts and track them. And if you can even just hang a piece of paper and just write those down, you have stuff that makes you feel accomplished when you can go there. And then if by chance an injury happens or something, you know where you were. And so you have an aiming point to get back to over time. While we're talking about these fitness PRs, raise your hand here if you know exactly how high you jump. Yeah, Jared. Okay. So you guys are all in this program. You all have the 60-day max. And I know that we haven't forced you guys to go through any of these, but this is where it happens. Let's get a number so that you know what you can improve at, okay? The way that we do it in the 60-day program is we say like, hey, if you don't have a Vertimax, that's fine. Hold a piece of chalk, put a Post-it note in your hand, jump up and slap it. We've got a group of friends out here in Hermosa. They call it the jump wall. They've got like a 20-foot ceiling, and it's covered in Post-it notes from the volleyball player parties, because every time there's a party, everybody goes and they try to, like, you write your name on your Post-it and you slap it as high as you can. And if you're not happy, you pull that one down and then you go and you do it again. It's fun. It's goofy. People are usually intoxicated when it's happening, but it's also pretty cool. And if you had that for yourself, just a little collection of Post-it notes, like over the years or over the months, then you've got it there. So this is in your programs, right? You can use a Vertimax if you have it or know where one is, but it can be as simple as holding a piece of chalk and being able to make a little etch. I've got duct tape straps hanging from the top of my garage. So they're at 11 feet, 10, 10, 10, 8, 10, 6. And at our Christmas party, we had, 7 or 8 of us going and seeing what we could touch in the middle of our Christmas party, right? It's just a cool thing to set up in your house. That's innocent, and it's fun to say, let me see if I can get up there. All right. So write down those PRs, and then other ideas for PRs don't necessarily have to be fitness. You can say, how many times can I get a one-handed alternating juggle? Just passing a ball to myself, right? If you were around 5 years ago, maybe you remember, like, one of my videos that hit was a five-part ball control challenge, where I said, okay, how many times can you pass and tomahawk alternating to yourself? You can do that on your couch. You can do it in the living room. But then you can start setting out all these ball control numbers. And when it gets stupid, like you're at 300 to 400 reps, you probably don't need any more of that, right? But if you struggle to pass to yourself and tomahawk to yourself, or pass pokey right, pass pokey left, pass pokey right, pass pokey left, and you're unforgiving with not alternating or using the other skill, right? If you do the tests the right way, you've got a baseline that you can say, you know what, I'm going to get better at this. And for me, it came even when I was hurt. I was always terrible at soccer. I had a shoulder surgery, and I just said, I'm going to juggle. I'm going to finally learn how to control a ball with my foot. And so while in my little arm cast thing, I just said, I'm going to spend 15 to 20 minutes a day trying to get as many foot touches as I can. And it took me a few weeks, but I finally got 100 in a row, and I was so fired up. Soccer means nothing to me. But in the middle of an injury, because I set a standard and I was able to break a record, do something that I hadn't done previously, it gave me confidence and joy. Okay, so I really encourage you guys to start figuring out a little PR sheet, and this is a good start. So I hope that I see a few of you are already in there, and I love that. So if you want to write down your own set of standards, do it. If you want to use one of ours, do it. But let's at least get that sheet there, and then you can choose when to break it whenever you want, or break as many as you want in a day. When's the last time? Raise your hand if you have jumped solely with the intent of jumping as high as you possibly can. Yeah. Nice. A lot of good numbers out there. Okay. That's important for training. So I just ran a podcast, like a quick 23-minute podcast right before this. And one of the important things is you guys got to know that when you play volleyball, you're only jumping 75 to sometimes 95 of what your max is. Okay. Because you're also aiming at the ball the entire time. Some of us don't have the best setters, so it's usually like not even in the perfect spot, right? But the intent of moving your body with max velocity increases your ceiling. So once or twice a week, you should, for body weight, I'm not saying this for weight, like testing your 1 rep max, but for body weight, you should be moving as fast as you possibly can without getting hurt. For some of us who are like a little bit older, the idea of sprinting, it starts getting scarier the older you get, and like random things start getting super tight. And I had to learn that and retrain it. So over the last 4 months, I've moved from 60% sprints to 70% sprints to 80% sprints. And I'm about ready to get to like 90, 95. Right. And also, because I know that I like sprinting and I hate the feeling of being slow. So I've started strengthening and lengthening my hamstrings with some of my work as well. And that's a big part of that kettlebell program that's now in your guys' library. It should be in your library by now. Okay. But we got that brand new kettlebell program. So if you're a little bit, let's say, bored with the 60-day max, or you want another idea for a 20-minute workout, we've got the kettlebell program. If it's not in your library, it will be by the next day or two. We just got to sort through all the software and add it to everybody. Okay. But hamstring strength became important. And I realized that, after a few weeks off, I would try to run or sprint, and I'm like, ooh, something tightened up and I don't like it. And you realize your body has to prep over time to be able to handle that speed. So I've been increasing my sprint speed steadily. And I'll be honest, yesterday I kicked butt in the coach that I practiced. I was coaching DJ and Tomer and Logan Weber. And me and DJ got him 21-19 in the practice at the end. So still got something in there. But the moral of the story is I'm feeling good because I'm measuring things, and I'm trying to get to a point where I can move at max velocity for sprints. And then for jumps, I don't have a problem as much with jumping at max velocity. But even like now that I'm sitting a lot more and doing the company stuff, I know that my hip flexors need constant strengthening. So I will just literally, I feel like an old man, but I'm doing exercises just like this, right? Because my hip flexors are loose because I do lots of hip flexor stretches. But if they're loose, that doesn't mean that they're strong. So I need lots of knee flexion, and I'm doing hanging knee flexion to make sure that my hip flexors are strong and able to handle the demands of a max jump and of a sprint. Okay. So just doing standing leg raises, if you try to do that 100 times, I bet you'll get some fatigue too. Okay. And sprinters and swimmers have incredibly strong hip flexors compared to anybody else. So good idea to just stand, pump your knees up, and start that strengthening process. Yes. Back to the schedule that we're working on this year, and I'll just read it out to you guys. And I suppose I could show you a visual. This is kind of a behind the scenes look into what our mess of a company looks like, but okay. So for member volleyball programming, this is going to be the one that we're looking at. Okay. These 2 weeks, our lessons are, last week we did kettlebells. Everybody was learning about kettlebells. Now we are in how to work out for volleyball. So I just want to attack questions and concerns with you guys about basic fitness training and working out. Remember that you also have extensive videos on this in the mini course section of your library. I don't truly or honestly expect anyone to finish the mini course section. If you do, you're a junkie and I love you. But there's so many video analyses in there and webinars that will be good for you to listen to. But I'm here to answer your questions if you don't want to run through those. So next week, we're also going to attack working out for volleyball, and I'm going to have a new challenge. Then at the end of January, beginning of February, we're talking all nutrition and hydration. Then we're going to do 4 weeks of mental and mindset training. Okay, we're going to take you through all of our the Volleyball Mind course. It's been renamed in your guys' library. It's Mastering the Volleyball Mind. And then in March, we're doing all of our passing and serving. So we're going to have the intro and assessments for that. And they're already in the passing course, but you guys are going to actually have to do it and post it and share it with everybody. And we're going to go through that for 3 weeks, and then serves, including jump serves. You guys are going to get assignments for that. April, we're moving into setting. May, we're going through the arm swing mechanics course, which I include a lot of jump mechanics. So if you want to learn how to jump and then go through all of the arm swing mechanics as well, that's a really good time for us. Then we'll take 2 weeks just for practice planning and drill design, just so that you guys can be able to run your own practices or trick your playing group into running sort of practice, right? And then finally through June, attacking, and July and August defense. And this practice planning drill design doesn't make sense here. We're still editing that. But then you guys know in October, we go through mobility and rehab. So that'll be the 21-day mobility for volleyball program. And so we're still editing the end of this. But what I wanted to do was create, back to tab, where are we? This was a design in the beginning. You guys should have the same schedule that our pro and elite teams have and go through. That's what I want for you guys. Most of you guys are in the Northern Hemisphere, so this schedule will make sense, okay? But again, my goal is to see all of your blue progress bars be completed course by course. You guys actually finish them so that you get every bit of knowledge that I have and that our team has, and Brandon and Logan and all of his lessons there. And at least we get all the full knowledge base into you, and you get all of the tests, and you guys can start seeing legitimate stats improve. And that's where we're going to be doing the intro and assessments to see where your passing's at. And then at the end of those weeks, we're going to retest and get some new stats and say, okay, have you improved? So if you choose to stick with us, you're going to see massive statistical improvement this year, okay? But it's going to be focused one step at a time. And of course, we always start with serve, pass, and set. That's how every pro team does it. Been doing it for eons. So that's where we should be over the next couple months, but we've got to get through some mindset before we go through that, because if the way you think about it is broken, or you're beating yourself up at the wrong times, that won't make sense either. So the mindset training will help us set some legitimate goals for ourselves. All right. So that's it for my spiel, and what you guys can expect going forward. But if you want, I will just give you what I just podcasted, and I'll go very quickly through it. And then I'd like to, if you guys have videos, questions, let's go through those. But first mistake that came to my mind when I said, okay, what are the biggest workout mistakes that volleyball players make? Not testing. We already went through the whys and the benefits of actually testing, okay? Like getting yourself a baseline. So we don't have to go through that again. Number 2, speed on your concentric movement. So you guys are well aware of our programs, and especially if you went through the kettlebell program, we had a 3-second controlled descent, and I said X up, or as fast as possible up, right? The concentric movement for athletes needs to be as fast as possible under control, okay? If you're pushing a weight and you just kind of come up at a medium speed, yeah, you're going to get hypertrophy, you're going to get strength increases, but you're not training for a sport at that point, right? You need to increase your capacity to move fast and explosively. So when you get past your eccentric or that slow load down, then you absolutely need to fire up, whether it's heavyweight or not. If you're using heavyweight, it won't feel fast, but the intent is what mattered. I just shared on my Instagram, if you guys care to follow. There's a guy called Dr. Mike Israel, and he's a bit of a meathead, but he's also brilliant. And he talks about this exact same thing as well. The intent to move fast for athletes is key. And like I said, it doesn't have to actually mean that you are moving fast, although sometimes you need to. And that's why we talked about the body weight jumping and sprinting, right? But as fast as possible for you at that weight. Okay. Number 3, the wrong volume at the wrong time. So big mistake is people are choosing the wrong volume at the wrong time. If you're doing high volume or high number of reps in sets in season, you're taxing yourself too much. Okay. We save high volume training for winter and fall. And then we go slightly higher on the sets and lower on the reps when we get to the season. Okay. That way we get a higher volume from our tournaments and playing, but we save it a little bit during that time. You guys can notice that in the 60-day program. I would love if the rest of you turn on your cameras, but I understand if you can't. If you guys could raise your hand, if you've been through the majority of the 60-day program at least once. Cool, John. All right. So it's there for you. You signed up. Might as well use it. But how I've been explaining that program is, okay, it's 60 days, and then you can put it on repeat. But in reality, if that were like the biggest version of your season, the weeks within that program would be stretched to 3 or 4 weeks. So where we go like 3 sets of 12 reps in week 2 and 3 of that program, you would stretch that to 6 weeks during your winter and fall. Okay. Where we're at weeks 4 and 5, again, you would stretch that and you would open them up. It's nice to go through it once and feel it. And if you're like the guys who actually have completed it and have gotten 3, 4, 5 inches of vertical increase, like these are, I'm not making this up. It's not like a marketing ploy. Like your members, the guys who are in here came back and have posted that. Seltzen, I know you're hearing me because Seltzen got, I think, 4 inches after completing the program. But it's nice to go through it once in that kind of sprint phase. But if you're using it for your season, you want the last weeks, like week 9, 8, and 7, to be basically your entire summer, if that's your tournament season. Okay. If you don't have a very specific tournament season, then it's okay just to cycle. Like if you play adult leagues all year round and there's no like main competition season, cool. Then it's really okay to cycle through that 60 days and then re-up, just increase your weights that you did from the last session, because of course you guys are writing everything down. Okay. So that's when that 60-day cycle works, is if you don't actually have a volleyball season, but your season is just all year round, constantly playing, and you don't really care about being great during the summer, like pros do. Okay. So wrong volume at the wrong time is another mistake. If you're playing or you're about to play, like say you're going to play on Friday or Saturday, you don't want to do a high volume training, lots of reps on Wednesday. You can do high volume on Monday, but Wednesday you would chop that down. And that's where we want to be higher sets of like 1 to 6 repetitions. Okay. So if you've got questions on that, keep it in the back of your mind. Let's attack it in a second. Fourth mistake I found was focusing on workouts more than actually playing. If your high line sucks, and I just said this in my podcast, no number of squats is going to make your high line better. You need to hit 10,000 high lines in game situations, not standing on a box, not standing on the ground, but getting a set and executing high line over a wire or over a blocker and hitting a target. Okay. So if you're so concerned with like how fitness is going to improve you, I was in that mindset from 19 to maybe 25. Maybe that's like everybody's meathead phase for guys. But I was like, oh, if I just get stronger, then I'll have another inch, then I'll hit over them. And it's like, no, you can be 5'10" and get a high line over a 6'9" blocker. You just have to figure out how to do it. Okay. So while it adds to your skills have to be up to par first. All right. So if you're more focused on your weightlifting and your conditioning than you are with if you're more concerned with that than you are with shanking 3 passes per set, you getting stronger is not going to fix your passing. You getting stronger is not going to fix you oversetting. Okay. It will help it. It will assist it, but play more in high rep environments and concern yourself with that first. Missing a workout totally is another big mistake, because that snowballs into missing more workouts. So even if you can't get it all done, I understand. I have a life, I have a daughter, I have a wife, we travel, we go all these different places, and it's tough to get in that workout. But my wife uses guerrilla warfare when it comes to her workouts. If she has 7 minutes, she will get in, get a set of RDLs, and get out. And if she does that 3 or 4 times in a day, she has spent 20 minutes in the gym. 20 minutes is enough to keep that standard of strength and fitness, right? It's the accumulation of repetitions over a long period of time that helps us improve. So even if you can't get the 45 minutes, the hour to go to the gym, put your leg on a chair behind you and get yourself Bulgarian squats until you feel a burn, and then do the other leg. That'll be done in 6 minutes, and you've challenged your body and you haven't missed your workout, and then it won't snowball. Get a workout in, even if it's not the full version of what you're programmed to do. Just don't miss it completely. Don't allow yourself to snowball into doing nothing. Okay. Hang from something, do pull-ups, stick your leg on a chair or your couch. If you're just going to sleep and you're like, man, I should have hit that workout today, instead of being disappointed in yourself, spend the next 50 seconds getting 25 squats. Be happy with yourself that you did it. Okay, but just don't miss it. All right. Yeah, my wife's notorious for just doing plank holds in our bedroom at 9:30 at night after showers and just being like, I just didn't get enough. Okay, And it helps that the baby jumps on her back and then adds that extra resistance. So, also, that being said, like with no workouts, no missing workouts, if you guys feel a tweak or something goes wrong during a match and something feels wonky, don't go for your full workout at your full velocity that day or the next day. Back off. If you feel like a little pop in your back, you're like, oh, stop the workout completely. Don't attempt to finish it. Don't say it's not that bad. Get out of there. Rehab for the next 2 days with our mobility program. And then slowly, the next workout that you do, go at half the weight, see if that feels okay. Go at half the speed, see if that feels okay. A long-term injury that knocks you out for 3 to 6 weeks will be detrimental to any improvement you have. It'll stop you in your tracks and you have to reset. So tweaks, treat them as nightmares, right? Stop completely. Be like, no, I'm not going to get the extra 15 minutes. If you guys have ever been snowboarding, maybe you heard this rule, or maybe it was just a family rule, but the second you're snowboarding and you say, just one more run, that is the one you don't want to go on because you're negotiating with yourself. You're already tired. You've probably been snowboarding all day. Ditch it. Just say, I'm good. If you're already negotiating with yourself, get out of there. Go get a hot chocolate in the lodge. Don't take that one more run at the end of the day. Okay. Same thing for tweaks. And then the last two are not including the sprint training and agility and not max or max sprinting, right? Like you have to include some version of getting yourself up to being able to sprint at full speed. The number of people who don't sprint at full speed after the age of 21 is staggeringly low. People will never attempt to sprint at full speed again in their life after 21. And we're athletes. Like, this is what we do. So don't fall into that and figure out how to max speed jump and max speed sprint. Don't start from 0 and go to 100. Do what I did over the last few months. Build up from 50%, 60% the next week, 70% the next week, 75 the next week, 80 the next week, until you can feel really comfortable and strong. Okay, so that's my advice there for working out for volleyball. Now, let's engage. Give me some questions that came up during that. Give me any questions that you have regarding workouts first. Or if you've got some video for me to look at, point me at your link.
How long are you sprinting for? Do you like going distance or do you like doing time?
So in the kettlebell program, I ask for 100-yard sprints. Okay. That's a little bit lengthy for a true volleyball player. Like most often you don't have to sprint more than 9 meters, maybe, to chase down a shank set or a shank dig, right? But it is good for your body to feel the attempt of max velocity over the long run. And it also builds endurance and leg strength for you to be able to do that. So why I included those in the kettlebell program was because they allow you to start and then build up as your body opens up, right? Sometimes you'll do 1 or 2. I just use my block. I go stop sign to stop sign. And it's about 100 yards. I've never officially measured it, but I go stop sign to stop sign and I run it down and I do it for 4 sets. My first one's pretty garbage. It's more of a jog. Second one, I'm like, all right, let's start going. Third one, for the second half of the block, I'm like, let's turn it on, right? And then I can start that turn on phase a little bit sooner. So I'm down with 100-yard sprints if you start doing it slow. But for volleyball players specifically, I love the 5-10-10, which is setting up 3 cones, each 5 yards apart. Start in the middle, get your foot past the cone on the right, sprint to the other one, which is now 10 yards away. Get your foot on the other side of that, sprint all the way back, because now it becomes volleyball oriented, where it's starts of speed, change of direction, get the speed going the other way. But I think that is the simplest, easiest, best bang for your buck exercise for a volleyball player is the 5-10-10. Okay. And you don't need cones. Like I set up water bottles and my daughter's toys, and I just lay them on the street and take 5 steps and measure it out like that.
Mark, I have a question. I'm in a place where right now I do CrossFit, but I'm on what I can do because I have a bit of a shoulder injury on my left side, luckily. And I don't know where to start. I haven't looked at the kettlebell challenge to see what it entails. I know it wasn't in the program yesterday in the library. But I don't know where to start. If I'm just trying to restart again and I'm limited on what I can do at CrossFit, I'm looking for new workouts right now. So if I do the kettlebell program, should I also be including the 60-day program as well? I know I started that, and that had a lot of lower body workouts as well. Yeah.
Okay. So you guys and the workout programs, I've written many of them in my life. So like I'm adding them piece by piece over the next month. But number one, if you guys haven't been working out or you're returning from injury, go into the mobility for volleyball, complete those 3 weeks, finish them, because they are mobility. They're mobility centric, but if you've been in that program, you also know that that's the start of your weight training. So I recommend doing that to fix any imbalances and make sure that you get an increased range of motion. Okay. Also, you're going to get like good strength endurance. So if you're starting from zero, coming back from an injury, or you just want to level up on mobility and some general strength, that program is for you. Beyond that, our kettlebell for volleyball, you can start from zero with the one that will be in your library right now. Okay. Or within a day. All right. So you can start from zero there. I give simple instructions. If you don't have a kettlebell, it doesn't matter for the 21-day introductory program, because you can do them with anything. You can do them holding plates. You can do them holding barbells. I just show you the base exercises for being able to use a kettlebell. And then in the second program that we're releasing in a month, that's a 4-week program where we get more really kettlebell necessary exercises. Okay. So you can choose kettlebell or 60-day max vertical, because the 60-day max, for the guys who have taken it and seen it, the first 2 weeks of that are also introductory, right? They're really high repetition, lightweight, waking up your body. So the whole design of that program was built before the mobility for volleyball program, because I knew people needed to get a general strength and general mobility before we got into lifting heavier weights and different types of programming. So you have the choice. You can start in the mobility program and then skip the first 2 weeks of the 60-day max. Okay. Or you can start straight up in the 60-day max, or you can start straight up in the kettlebell program.
Okay. Sounds good.
So, lots of options.
Do you ever double up on programs? Do you ever do one while you're doing the other?
No, not if it's a program. Yeah. Because in all those, I included the full mobility warm up. So the only thing that we would and will double up on is when we start the Fix Your Arm Swing course, because that includes very specific overhead exercises that should be in addition to anything that we're doing. So that will help really open up our range in our pecs, our overhead mobility behind, and strengthen these moves and and rotational. So it's a small amount of exercises. It's just like, 1 or 2 sets a day. So that would be the only time that we're doing fitness in addition to whatever program you guys are on.
Gotcha. Cool.
Other questions or videos or links that you guys have? Okay. if that's it, then we'll wrap this meeting, let you guys go. Again, tag me when you post. So if you post a video or a link, go ahead and tag it. I don't really want you guys to post the links like to Ball Timer app. So see if you can download whatever clip you're talking about and upload it directly there. It makes it a lot easier on me. So please just upload the videos directly to that when you do, and try to keep it under 30 seconds. And when you do post, ask me a specific question. I don't want to coach you at random and just hunt and be like, oh man, I was really hoping he would talk about my passing, when you didn't say, please look at my platform. I've been working on this. Tell me how it's going. That's a great way to phrase those posts. Okay. Brian, you said you had a question. What's up?
I had a quick rules question about a play that occurred this last weekend. I was in a game. I blocked a ball, and the result of the block went very high and backwards onto the opponent's side, but was obviously going to land out of bounds by like a foot or two. It hung up in the air for a very long time, though, and I was like right next to the antenna. Could I have gone under the net or around the net and passed it back to my partner?
If it goes into the other player's field inside the infinite antennas, you guys have to imagine that they have infinite plane all the way up to heaven, right? If it goes through that plane, you have no play on it. But if you blocked it and somehow it like went outside the antenna then a vortex came and wiped it in the court, yes, you can go through the net, pursue that back outside the antenna, and then come back inside the antenna.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Cool. I'm going to post that challenge. I'm new to this as well with all the challenges, but when you guys do the challenges, click join challenge. And then for this, all you have to do is write the PR that you chose or made up, and then write it on the post in the challenge. There are badges and points, which we are going to figure out a way to give you guys prizes so that we can encourage participation. So if you complete a challenge, that's the highest value points you can get within this app. So when you complete that and then join it and then click complete within the challenge, that pads your points. You also get points for commenting or liking anybody else's posts. I think comments are worth more than actual likes. So it really encourages the group support atmosphere. And that's what we want to create so that we can all get better together. Okay. And we haven't decided on what types of prizes that we're going to give for like the monthly points leaders, but we are definitely going to do it. We want to reward the people who are fully engaged and who are our type of people, which are community builders. Okay. So join the challenge. It'll be up momentarily. And that's all I got for this week. All right. Go set some PRs. You guys got that link? I'm going to post it in the community, and I will see you in there, and I will see you next week. And if you guys ever want to do the one-on-one program, which I know a few of you here are already in, just so you know, if you sign up for that, you get 12 privates with me, and you also get all of the camps the whole year that's already paid for in that elite program. So if you want to sign up for that, if you think you might or you want to come to 2 or more camps in a year, or you're somewhat near Hermosa and you just like want to be able to take day trips and get 5 hours of classes, that program is beyond worth it. Okay. So if you want to check it out, it's at betteratbeach.com/film session. And I'm only going to take maybe 2 more because with the new responsibility for this community stuff, I'm running low on time, but check it out. And if you want to join and work with me privately, you're more than welcome. And then we'll see you at a whole lot more camps.